Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Barunba for the NEC PC Engine. In this 1990 shoot-'em-up from Namco and Zap Corporation, some kind of evil doctor wants to conquer the world with his robots or something. So naturally, you're gonna hop into your spaceship capsule and mess him up. Barunba has 5 levels, with a consistent pattern of first stage half, mid-boss, second stage half, main boss. I'm always fond of games that stick to their formula the whole way through, instead of throwing in random boss rushes or branching paths or whatever. Barunba shakes things up with its attack mechanics instead. Not only can you switch between a standard Vulcan, lasers, bombs, and a shield on the fly, but you rotate your cannon to aim independently of whatever direction you're flying in. This did take a while to get used to, but the game doesn't force you to constantly reorient your guns as much as you might expect. And you can also grab upgrade capsules to increase the firepower of each shot, if only temporarily. Barunba also gives you variety in the stage themes. Level 1 is a city in the sky full of jetpack penguins and robot bunny rabbits. Level 2 is an underwater cavern where you actually have to keep pressing down to stop your ship from idly floating to the top of the screen. Level 3 is a volcano where you face the boss in his lava hot spring spa, but don't worry about catching them all indecent and stuff. 2,000-degree baths tend to require a full suit of armor. Level 4 is a creepy forest full of creepy spiders. And level 5 looks like a castle from the outside, but is actually more of a factory on the inside. All the standard enemies are generally mechanized versions of whatever critters fit the theme of a given stage, like fish robots in the underwater cavern. You can tell the developers sorta had to make stuff up for the volcano level though, because it's full of kangaroos and giant floating lion heads. Some of the bosses remind me of mythological gods, armored minotaurs and chimeras and stuff, while others are just, like, moles with jetpacks. Which I felt bad fighting, by the way, because when you destroy the small one, you get attacked by a bigger one. So I think maybe I just blew up Mama Mole's poor mechanical baby mole. Barunba has a fairly cartoony visual aesthetic, but I wouldn't call it a cute-em-up, and I can't say I'm very fond of the way things are rendered. It all comes across as a bit muddy and stilted, even though the graphics are fun in concept. I'm also not a fan of the dainty damage clink sound effects. When I'm shooting down a robot monster, I want it to feel like an epic boom, not like I'm tapping my fork against a glass in preparation for a fancy dinner speech. This is no wedding toast, this is war! I do like the shield charging sound effect though, and every chiptune music track here is great. The most novel aspect of Barunba is the shield weapon. When you tap the fire button, the shield orbs shoot out like bullets that bounce around the playfield. But when you hold the fire button, they protect your ship from projectiles in whichever direction you orient them, except for the small gap in between. A pretty glaring design flaw if you ask me. I mean, winter vests are infuriating, because they keep me warm in the middle, but leave my frostbite-prone noodle arms defenseless. And this shield power just has the same problem in reverse. But the shield is easily the most useful weapon in the game, because even though it's pretty weak as a gun, it lets you cheese most of the levels and boss fights by strategically hiding in corners and deflecting all the enemy blasts. My favorite part of Barunba was probably just planning out where I could most effectively pin myself to a wall and laugh, while all the bad guys pass by without being able to lay a finger on me. Apparently my spaceship isn't too fond of being backed against walls though, because it starts violently humming and shaking, but as long as I don't take damage, I don't really care. That's not to say I wasn't constantly taking damage though. Barunba is a hard game with sparse health pickups, and once your life bar is drained, it's game over. There is a continue code to restart the current level by pressing up and run, but I needed save states to beat this one. There's just way too much trial and error required for me to tackle every level from start to finish in one go. If I could change one thing here, I'd consolidate your weapon arsenal. The lasers and the shield are the only powers worth using most of the time, so why not streamline things? Overall, Barunba is a unique novelty of the PC Engine shooter library, and even though the shield gap is as egregious as winter vests, the fact that it lets me cheese my way through most of the game as a wall-clinging pacifist was neat enough to appease my critical gamer brain and my frostbitten noodle arms.